Peter Rosenberger's journey began 3 decades ago when he married his bride, Gracie, who eventually lost both legs to amputation related to a devastating automobile accident when she was 17 years old. In 1983, Gracie Rosenberger was 17 years old when her legs were crushed from the result of an automobile accident. For 8 years following, she and her doctors desperately tried to save her legs. During that time, she married Peter in 1986, and a few years later, they had 2 sons. Today, Peter has helped Gracie, as her caregiver, navigate through a medical nightmare that has mushroomed to 78 operations, the complete amputation of both legs, treatment of more than 60 doctors in 12 hospitals, and $9 million in medical bills. Today, Peter hosts his radio show, Caregivers with Hope, to encourage others. This is Today's Life, a story of unshakable faith. Peter, it's so great to see you again. It's been a long time.
It has been too long.
You look
great. It's really kind of weird though when I saw you, almost last time I saw you, I think you were in the ER.
I know.
And so I looked up and I'm taking Gracie to the ER and there you are.
And you know what? I ended up being a nurse.
You did, and it was, and then you billed us. No.
We have to do that. We have to pay our nurses. So how is Gracie?
You know, she's better than she was. She's not where she'd like to be. She struggles. I mean, it's been a long journey for her.
It's been a very long journey.
This is her 33 years that she's been hurt, but she did get to meet her grandson.
Oh, that's right.
We have a grandson now. He's only 3 months old.
Aww.
And just to see her holding him was extraordinary because nobody thought she'd live, much less have children, now has seen her grandson.
You know, I've known you for a long time. My husband's known you even longer. You have a
Go ahead and say it. It's goofy.
Humor.
I'm goofy. You know, I credit my mother and a large family for this. My dad is a little bit more reserved and stoic, but Mom is pretty funny, and my brothers and sister are just hilarious. And I remember when I started doing my radio show, and Jeff Foxworthy told me, he said, "Make them laugh, Peter. You know more than most how much heartache they carry. They need to laugh." And I read funny books. I listen to a lot of stand-up comedians. I watch funny movies. I have apps that do jokes to my phone. I love humor.
Tell us some jokes.
Well, I mean, you know, I love Rodney Dangerfield, you know. Oh. You know, I went to the Surgeon General. He offered me a cigarette, you know. I mean, I love humor, and we have funny moments. Gracie has a good sense of humor. I mean, we've had some goofy moments in our life. She was out riding horses one time in Montana with our sons, and she was wearing straight leg jeans, and she was real proud she could get into those jeans. She'd been working real hard to get into shape. Well, she has these little release buttons on either side of her legs, on her prosthesis, and it hit the saddle. Well, the legs dropped, but they stuck inside these straight leg jeans, and so these legs are dangling down below in the jeans, and it's making the horse go faster. He's hitting the horse, and she's screaming bloody murder, and the horse is going faster. And so, Parker and I, our oldest son, raced up to try to get the horse. We got it, and so we're helping her, and I had to take her. She had to go back to the barn to put her legs back on, but she has to take her pants down to do it. So we had to take her legs with us, and Parker's got one in the rifle scabbard, and he's holding on to the other across the saddle, and I'm leading her horse, and she doesn't have any legs, it's just empty pant legs. So, you know, and you have to laugh at stuff like that. I mean, you know, we've had so many just goofy moments in our life, and life is worth living and living large. And I think that it really helps a lot of life's illnesses if you can learn to laugh and these things. And so that's what I do. And I mean, you know, we're called to have joy. And I have joy. Look, somebody said this to me. Well, thank you. But somebody said to me the other day, you know, it's how do you do this knowing what the future is? Because, you know, this could go on for some time, and it's a tough journey. And I said, I can do this because I know what the future is. This is just the immediate future. I know what the future is. And I've seen this, and I thought, you know, that's how I do this. This is not the end of the story.
No,
This is going to be painful. This is going to be hard. This is going to be full of tears.
And so this is what God has been teaching you.
But this is where God, yes, and God is, He has saved me from something far worse than being a caregiver for 30 years. He saved Gracie from something far worse than losing both legs and being in pain. There's something far worse that He has taken upon Himself. I can rest in that. And now it's hard to do that because sometimes it gets right up in your face, and it's really hard to do that when your wife's going into a seizure, when she's coding, those kinds of things. And those are scary moments. And that's when you put your scared hand into His scarred hand, and you hang on for dear life.
You know, what would you say to somebody that doesn't have the faith that you have?
What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? What do you want to,
Because a lot of people get to that moment where they become a caregiver, or they're in a crisis situation and they don't have that faith. What do you want to say to that person?
Well, I say what I say to myself, and what I've said to myself for these many years, is that I go back to the fundamentals. My son, when he was 9 years old, asked me, he said, why should I believe in God? And why should I believe that He cares about my hurt when I see what He allows Mom to go through?
How do you answer it?
And I answered him, I said, I have no idea why God allows your mom to go through what she goes through. But here's what I do know, that He stretched out His arms and He gave His life for us on the cross. And if He loves us that much, then I'm going to trust Him with all this other crazy stuff that I just do not understand. And I'm willing to trust Him with it. Now, He's going to give me strength to trust Him, strength for today, bright hope for tomorrow. And give us this day our daily bread. That preaches real well until you have to live it every day. But that's where we live as caregivers. Nobody can do this for a lifetime. Anybody do it for 24 hours. And that's what He said He's going to do. We're just going to deal with today. So I'm not going to try to give some type of theological exegesis on here, how to convince you to become a believer. I'm just going to say, this is what sustains me. And if it sustains me, I am confident that it's going to sustain you as well.
Peter, it was great seeing you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry.
The Lord tells us, come to me, all you are weary, and I will give you rest. Are you struggling with being a caregiver? Is the stress getting too much? Give it to the Lord. He's waiting for you. Walk by faith, not by sight. He is the one who loves you most, and He is there for you. This is Today's Life, Stories of Unshakable Faith. I'll see you next week.